Are you struggling to figure out which type of Tyranitar or Salamence you want to catch in the current event? Well, allow me to lend you a helping hand. For those that don't know, there's an event going on at the moment where you can catch the pseudo-legendary exclusive to your game in TERA raids. This will be Tyranitar if you have Scarlet and Salamence if you have Violet. You'll see these glowing on your map and the crystals glow as well, so they're really easy for you to find. In light of the event, I figured this would be an amazing time to make a video talking about what I believe to be the top 3 Terra types for both of these Pokemon. I'll be going over the types, explaining why they're good, and going over some sample sets that you can run on them as well. Let's dive into this. So for Tyranitar, I do believe that the best Terra type is Ghost, and the reason for that is that Tyranitar has a 4 times weakness to fighting. It also naturally resists what Ghost is weak to, that being Ghost and Dark. This can create quite a 50-50 for you and your opponent. Not to mention that you have Stab Crunch to deal with those pesky Ghost types if they try to hit you for super effective damage once you terrestrialize. Here we've got a really basic EV spread that is just max speed and a lot of bulk. This is so we can get off a few Dragon Dances and sweep through the later game. Now here we run the Clear Amulet. This will stop the enemy from being able to drop our stats with things like Intimidate. We're also running Sandstream as the ability, and I do understand that once you Terra Ghost, you'll be getting hit by your own Sandstorm. So if you did want to run something like Unnerve, then feel free to go ahead and do that. I genuinely believe that Ghost is undoubtedly the best defensive typing for Tyranitar because it covers things that you want to avoid. If you didn't want to run a set like this, you could easily run something like Iron Defense. You could run Body Press. You could really mix this up and you could be just a really bulky defensive Tyranitar that's lost that fighting weakness completely. If you're looking to cover your bases and just make a good solid defensive Terra that's versatile with whatever you want to build, then this is likely the Terra for you. Next we have a very strong one, and that is Terra Rock. Now, the reason this is really good is because Tyranitar is already a rock type. It also sets the sand. For those that don't know, when sand is up, rock types get 50% increased special defense. So staying as a rock type will make sure that you keep that bonus. The benefit of being a Terra rock type and not a rock dark type is you lose that 4 times weakness to fighting and it only remains regular. You also lose really common weaknesses like Bug in the form of U-turn and the prominent Fairy. Not to mention that on the offensive side, your already rock stab moves are going to get an extra boost. You tie this in with a choice band and you start absolutely destroying opponents with those rock slides. The EV spread you run for something like this is fairly simple. We've got enough speed to outspeed Dragapult under Tailwind, and we've got just maxed out attack and the rest going into bulk. We want to do some big damage with a set like this. To be fair, you could run the exact same set as your previous build just with this Terra type. I just wanted to give you guys a few more ideas on what you could do with the Pokemon by throwing in some different sets. And last but not least, I do believe that Terra Flying is amazing on Tyranitar, and the reason for this is both defensive and offensive. Now on this build, it's very similar to the previous ones. We're running enough speed to outspeed Dragapult under Tailwind or after 2 Dragon Dances. We're also maximizing our attack in this one, and the reason for that is that Terra Blast, Terra Flying actually 2-hit KOs Amoonguss. It has a chance to 1-hit KO with max attack, and that's pretty devastating. We're running the Lumberry to avoid things like Bones and Spores, since this is good for that Amoonguss matchup. And Flying is incredibly defensively because not only does it resist grass that you're naturally weak to, but it's completely immune to ground, which is one of your prominent weaknesses. This in double battles can be used offensively with your teammates. You can use Terra Flying, fly up in the air with those balloons, and then Earthquake with your partner, say Garchomp, and completely devastate the enemy team. They won't see it coming. This is a really solid typing for Tyranitar, and I do believe these are probably the top 3. Now before we get into Salamence, I just wanted to quickly remind you guys to subscribe to the channel. I do this full time and any bit of support helps me so much. I love making these videos for you guys and I want to keep doing that, so please subscribe, hit like, leave a comment, and support me as a creator. Now we'll get onto Salamence, and on this Pokemon, I believe undoubtedly that the best Terra type is Steel. Steel is so good on Dragon-type Pokemon. Well, it's so good on most Pokemon, but it's so incredible on Dragon-type Pokemon, and I'll tell you why. Dragon types are only weak to Fairy, Dragon, and Ice. All 3 are resisted by Steel. With access to Iron Head and Dragon Claw, you maintain your Dragon Stab to hit those dragons for super effective, and you gain Iron Head to hit Fairies and Ice types are super effective. This is absolutely devastating. Now, the reason we're running the EV spread we have here is because on a Pokemon like this with such a high attack stat, Adamant will actually get you more speed than Jolly if you're trying to hit an exact goal. 143 is the speed needed that 1 Dragonair will outspeed Dragapult. You can see here, if we were to go Jolly, our attack stat would actually cap out at 187. And if we were to move our speed to 143, we would only get enough bulk to have 192 HP. If we go back to Adamant as we were before, you'll see that having enough speed to hit 143 And having enough attack to hit 187 will give us more bulk. We'll get 4 more points of HP. This is something to keep in mind when you're looking at natures. You want to make sure that you're getting a big boost on a big stat to make sure you actually get the most points that you're available to get on that Pokemon. This is a really strong set, and I think Salamence is incredibly good right now. Next up we have TERA Fire. Now this is really incredible on this Pokemon as well, and I'm going to tell you why. If you go TERA Fire, it means you cannot be burned. If you run Clear Amulet, it means your attack cannot be dropped by Intimidate. Essentially, they can't really stop you from doing damage. That tied up with Dragon Dance, Dragon Claw to hit almost everything, and Terra types to hit those steel types that resisted and hit those fairies pretty decently as well, makes this an absolute powerhouse. Especially paired with Moxie, you can genuinely sweep with this Pokemon. Terra Fire is very strong. We're running the same EV spread here. I think this is really good on Salamence at the moment. There's a lot of other ones as well, but man, I love these kind of builds, and I think that Salamence through Terra typing becomes unbelievable. There are certain Pokemon like Hydreigon, for example, that were always held back by their typing, but with Terra, they just shine so much brighter. And last but not least, we have Terra Ground. Now, you may think, isn't that just worse Garchomp, because Garchomp's already ground? Well, the truth is, Garchomp doesn't get things like Dragon Dance. Though if we didn't want to go Dragon Dance and we wanted to go something like a Choice Band, want to run just a Clear Amulet, run a regular 252 split spread, it wouldn't really matter, because this Pokemon has access to Dual Wing Beat, Dragon Claw, Iron Head, Earthquake. The coverage is incredible and the stats are incredible, and you also have Moxie. If you get a double KO with Terra Ground Earthquake and you get the +2 Moxie boost, not much is really going to be able to stop you. Salamence is a definite threat with these 3 Terra types, and I genuinely believe that these are probably the 6 Terra types you should go for in these 2 raids. There are far more Terra types that are really good as well. You can go Terra Dark on Salamence to avoid Prankster and get off Tailwinds. You can go Terra Fighting Tyranitar to Iron Defense Body Press. There's so many options with Terra types. Terra Normal Facades, like the sky is the limit. But I didn't want to make a video going to all of them. I genuinely believe that can be really overwhelming. Go grab these types, try out similar builds to this, see how you like them, and then come back to me and tell me if you think that I was right, because I genuinely believe that these are really strong types. What do you guys think the strongest Terra types for these Pokemon are? Leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know. I love discussions like this. I love Pokemon. I love talking competitive sets, and I would love to converse with you. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.